viewers, you're welcome once again to Development Platform, where we celebrate achievements, unveil potentials, and of course, showcase the core values of the nation. With us on the platform today is a man we all know very well, a very popular figure, the ambassador of sports and culture.
Thank you, Sonny.
Fashanu, the well-known sportsman with records. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Sonny.
We want to start for the interest of those who are like the young generation, who are just knowing, they know you by name, but they've not seen you before. Can you just please, let's meet you on the program.
You know, Sonny, I was a professional footballer for 2 decades. In England, Millwall, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Norwich City, oh my goodness me, many clubs in England. I think I played 2 decades, that's 20 years, and I was a striker. My job was to score goals, and I think I scored about 500 goals in 2,000 matches. So played for England, didn't play for Nigeria before that even comes out, Sonny. Didn't play for Nigeria, but there's a reason, we'll get into that later on. But enjoyed the game of football, and then came home and returned to my motherland.
Okay, can I just ask you why you didn't play for Nigeria?
Well, Sonny, you know, that's been a well-documented subject, and it's great. I actually came many years ago to have trials under the Brazilian coach called Auto Gloria. And the coach said to me, look, Fash, we've seen you train, we've seen you playing with Shegun Odegbomi, Muduluwao, late Muduluwao, Henry Wusu, all the stars, and you don't fit in. The English invented the game of football, and it was a very robust, aggressive game of football, in the air, running, heading, hurting people. The Brazilians took the game from the English and changed it and made it a very skillful, beautiful, quiet game of football. We Nigerians took the game of football from the Brazilians. So the Nigerian and Brazilian game was totally different from the English game. And to be honest, Sonny, you know, let me be very honest, which I have, I didn't fit in. He was very, very right. I came on 3 occasions. The best I got was I was benched against China. But I just didn't fit in, so there was no point in hiding it. Many years later, I now was good enough to play for England, but the styles of football were very, very different. Now, because we've got Nigerians, Brazilians, Chinese all playing together, football is one. But then you had English football and the rest of football.
Okay, what was the greatest moment as a footballer?
Oh, Sonny, I think the greatest ever moment you can have is winning a domestic or a cup, World Cup. We played 88 against the mighty Reds, which were called Liverpool. And I was playing for a club called Wimbledon. I think I've even got one of the pictures of the actual FA Cup, which we'll show you later on. And that was the biggest domestic cup in the world. There was 100 million spectators around the world, and we beat Liverpool 1-0, which was a real incredible feat.
In 2005, you are correct, you had a reality show.
Yes.
Football Challenge.
The most popular game in the world, football, is getting even more interesting. Because here now we bring you Nigeria's first ever football challenge with Fash.
Why did you come with such, and what are we expecting to have in the terms of continuation of such?
You know, we came with a very strong idea. You know, Sonny, we've always said ideas rule the world. It was an idea to make a football show into a reality show. So that means that we would coach the footballers, we would manage the footballers, but we would also take them back into the camp. And you would see real life, what it was like to be in an academy. The show went crazy. Everybody loved the show. It was a very big success. And we had 300,000 applications. Now, 300,000 footballers who all paid 3,000 naira for a card, that's nearly 1 billion naira. That's a lot of money. And we reinvested that money back into the system, getting ready to do another reality show as soon as the time is right.
So how well has that impacted on our football?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. I think we've taken about 30 players abroad from that particular funds. And also it gave, the show was so popular around the world that it gave everybody a different view to Nigerian footballers. Nobody's ever criticised Nigerian players for their ability. The criticism has always come for their character.
Now, let's come back home. Nigeria. You lived most of your lives abroad, and was it true at the time you went into estate business?
Yeah, you know, I have one or two estates which I bought and I built in England, which were very successful and which are very successful. Mine was I wanted to come back home. It wasn't a thing about money, it wasn't a thing about rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief as we say. It was just the fact it was time for me to come back home. I'd performed quite well, got a little bit of success in England, and now I wanted to come back home. So I left everything and came back home.
You're so much welcome. And today you are the ambassador of sports and tourism.
Correct.
How has it been occupying such position in Nigeria?
You know, it is great. It's an honorary position which was given to me under the regime of Sani Abacha, and it's continued and gone on through there. It's a wonderful position. I used to work for the United Nations as an ambassador as well, the UN, specifically UNICEF, and it's something which is a great honour to all of those young ambassadors anywhere in the world. It's an honour. It's a tag, and you have to live up to that tag, whatever it might be. Ambassador for Nollywood, ambassador for music, ambassador for sport, tourism. We are all representing our countries.
Then in terms of tourism, how can you appraise tourism business in Nigeria?
Well, we always say that sport and tourism go hand in hand. You can't divorce the two of them. If you're promoting sport, you're promoting tourism. If you're promoting tourism, you're promoting sport. There's something which goes in with them. Because, of course, if you're having a football or a sports tournament in Nigeria, you will have a lot of people from the neighbouring countries, neighbouring states, wherever it is, coming to see, to watch. They come in with the opinion to look at football, but they now see the terrain is beautiful and everything is nice, and they say, wow, I like Nigeria. I've never been there before. I'd heard a lot of stories, as everybody has, but now we came in for a tournament and we saw that the place is beautiful.
You have really achieved so much when it comes to football. Let's just class it to sports. And today you are the ambassador of sports as concerns Nigeria. How can you appraise sport development in Nigeria so far?
Well, you know, let's take it from this regime. Mr. President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan has been in office for 6 years or 4 years, depending on which angle you want to look at it. It has been fantastic. You know, Sonny, in the Commonwealth Games, an amazing results. You know, Cup of Nations. You know, all right, this particular Cup of Nations we failed to qualify, but the Cup of Nations before, wonderful success. And we look at it and we say, the girls' competition, the Falcons, wonderful, we're winning. I think there's very few competitions in sport under this regime, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, that we haven't qualified. So whether you like the president or you don't like the president, or you don't like the country, we can say that under this regime we have literally reached 10 out of 10 every time in sports. And 70% of Nigeria are the youths. And out of the 70%, I would say a good 50% are sports lovers. So there must be a lot of very comfortable, happy young men out there knowing that sport is in good hands. Because I know a president who loves sport is very different from a president who doesn't love sport. And you must look in people's manifests and see, what have we got for sport? Because sport is what your children, my children, even us, even at our age, we want to be playing sport. And if there's no facilities, we now start trading insults and we now start getting daggers at each other because there's no other recreation. So it is imperative that a government has it in mind that sports are for the youths.
Yeah, talking about government today, Nigeria government today, how can you appraise their performance so far? even though you have talked in the area of sports. Now,
Yeah.
we're talking generally about the performance of government today, especially though we have President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan on the seat. But how can you appraise so far their performance?
You know, I think, Sonny, that we look at it holistically, broader picture. If we start to name the government's achievements, we'll be here for another year. I prefer to talk about the things which have been achieved as opposed to what opposition parties will talk about, what we will do. What we will do doesn't work for most of the young youths because we can just make up everything, false promises, etc., etc. If we talk about their achievements, where do we go? We go from transportation of the country. We go for agriculture. We go for the Project WIN, massively successful. We go for all the other youth-related projects which Mr. President has brought in, have been absolutely phenomenal. So, you know, we have to say, appraisal of the government, it has been excellent. It's been absolutely excellent. And, you know, I think anybody in their right mind will say, let's see what's going to come for the next 4 years.
Now, to talk about the insurgents, can you say anything why we've not been able to really win the fight against insurgents in Nigeria?
You know, let's talk about insurgents in a whole larger picture. Number one, we can never say insurgents is Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's fault. British Prime Minister David Cameron's fault. Prime Minister of France, it's his fault. This is what we call a global phenomena. This is when we have global spiritual, physical attacks all over the world. Nobody knows why it's happening. From ISIS in Syria, to in Turkey, to in all of these different countries, there are killings and killings and killings. Now, we can look at it from the Bible point of view, Sonny, we can say, wow, if we go to the Bible, it says it's the end of the world. Brother killing brother, sister killing sister, mother killing mother. We can go from the biblical side and we say there's something happening. Or we can say that the world is not settled at the moment. Because everywhere there are killings. I was actually in Paris a month and a half ago when there was mass killings on the streets. I couldn't look at the Prime Minister of France and say it's your fault, particularly it's you. It wasn't. Because we're having the same challenges in our country. We're having the same in Mali, we're having the same in Chad, we're having the same in Cameroon, in Canada, in America. Are we going to single it out and use it as a political weapon and say, that's Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's fault? Yes, that's his. It's not. And either we all come together and stamp this out, like a virus, before it becomes infectious to the whole world, and the whole world turns into a war, which is a thought which some people are doing, or do we just sit back? This is the challenge which world leaders have. And I think that they're doing the right thing because the world leaders are now having dialogue. They are now having conferences. World leaders are now meeting and saying, we recognize this is a challenge to the world. The first time we can say that insurgents and guerrilla warfare is the worst type of warfare ever. Because your brother today, executioner tomorrow. We don't know. Who are guerrillas? Who are the insurgents? They are actually from in the house. We don't know who they are.
Okay, let's talk politics. There is some group of persons who are already insinuating that Fash is already in the politics. Is it actually a true...
well, you know, Sonny, it's not an insinuation. It's a fact. You know, it's something which I can clarify. You know, I'm a PDP card hold member. You know, you get to an age where, you know, you want the best for children. When you're younger, Sonny, it doesn't matter. APC, PDP, who cares? Labour, ABGA, it doesn't really matter as far as you're concerned. But when you get into the maturer stage of your life, you realise that when you've gone, you want a safe, humbling environment for your children. So you want to make sure that whatever you leave behind, there's stability for your children. So I've taken the trap and I've looked and I've said, wow, PDP, wow, what you have done in sports, which is my field, has been more than any other president in Nigeria. And I can say that, please, ladies and gentlemen, you can quote me on that. What Goodluck Ebele Jonathan has done is more than any other president who has ever led this country. So why would I not want to follow him? I've travelled around the world. I've seen many, many countries, and I think in my life, testimony is in the other room, I've met 28 presidents in my life. There are some people, and I say that respectively, who've never been to 28 countries. So when I say that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is the number one leader for me, the people who believe in me will follow, because we want that enabling environment for PDP.
Doing business in Nigeria, how's it been with you?
Well, you know, it's a challenge to everybody because of the epilepsy in the light, because of the non-consistency in certain things. But I would like to say it's getting better. It's getting exciting. A lot of those things, let's say for the last month, 2 months, 3 months now, we've had current light. It's been excellent. Current light affects everybody in so many fields, in so many different issues. Even from going to the local supermarket and spending 10,000 naira and filling up your fridge only to find that there's no light the next day and all the things have gone off. Those things are changing. So I like to say that we're seeing changes. Business has always been a challenge, but this is why this is the metropolis. Nigeria is the metropolis. Everybody wants to invest in Nigeria. Ask yourself why, Sonny. We're not fools. We got here first and we're staying here. And I can tell you, everybody can see that the future is going to be very bright if we have sustainability, we have development, and we have continuity. And I think under the PDP, this is what we're striving for.
Green Fash. Can you tell us about it?
Green Fash is a project which I'm doing with the development of control. It's a green area. This is an area which we got in one of our estates in Sun City, where it's for sports. It's for the youths. It's for them to play five-a-side, the young youths. It's for them to play basketball. It's for them to play table tennis. It's for them to be able to go on a screen outside and watch the different sports. That's a lovely piece of land, and we're trying to develop different areas in Abuja which are primarily green areas. What does a green area mean? It doesn't mean, Sonny, that we just paint it green like this sofa. These are green areas where they're for the natural green of the land, and which will naturally bring in the youths. So you can go there and just sit down, and if you want, you just watch the trees and watch the flowers and the bees and the birds, and you can just watch it, and you can have peace.
No, lastly, what do you do for leisure at your good times?
Leisure. You know, number one, Sonny, you know that when you're with a businessman of any repute, most businessmen have a very short concentration span, because they're onto something else, onto something else, onto something else. So they don't really have much leisure time. Not because there's none, it's because we don't allow ourselves to have leisure time. I myself have studied the martial arts for many, many years, and studied with my dear friend Jackie Chan, and a Chinese expert. And so I do a lot of martial arts. But one of my rooms in my house I've just turned into a cinema room, because it's sometimes, Sonny, it's nice to sit there with your loved ones and watch films, movies. And nowadays, you know, the sophistication is improving so much now, you can afford to build a beautiful room, have a projector, and have once every week have the best, latest movies. That's a nice one.
Okay, if you are watching, our guest remains John Fashanu, a renowned Nigerian, the commander of the youth, and he's also the ambassador of sports and tourism in Nigeria. It's been fun. You can feel the passion. You can touch the passion the man is trying to express in what he calls developing Nigeria. through the realities on ground. You thank you very much for being on the program.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.